So, speaking of the new laws that are trending on our website, the new laws taking effect in Alabama and the new laws taking effect in Georgia, let's take a look at what some of those are. We'll do Georgia first since we are in Georgia at this current moment. We don't need the volume from the ad. So a pretty big one here that took that it's going to be continuing beginning this month, and then it's going to be continuing into January of 2027, the beginning of next year. Georgia's flat state income tax is going to be decreasing again, and it's going to lower to 4.99%. That's going to impact you, the individual taxpayer. It's going to impact me as a taxpayer, and then also employers and their payroll. So make sure you're keeping an eye on that. It's going to be happening. It's already happening, going to be happening all throughout the course of the year, beginning yesterday. Also, insurance companies are now required to give policyholders a 60-day notice before their policies are terminated instead of 30 days. So if your policy is going to be terminated, you are going to have some extra time to get some things in order and get a plan together. You don't have just a month, you have about 2 months now. It's going to be beneficial. It's going to be impacting you all as homeowners and policyholders, and now you're going to have more time to shop for replacement coverages, and also it's going to be affecting property insurers, and they're going to have to update their cancellation and non-renewal procedures. Pretty interesting stuff there happening in Georgia. Let's see. Talking about landfills in Georgia, new law, Georgia's Board of Natural Resources now requires anyone wishing to build or alter a solid waste facility to prove the project meets zoning and land use rules. I know we've covered a lot of stories before in the past where people are unhappy at how large landfills are getting, and they're unhappy with the smell they produce, obviously, because it's a giant piece of land that is used for holding trash. So now it looks like it's going to be requiring landfills to make sure they're not overusing their piece of land, and that they actually have all their only using what they have, and they're not going beyond that. So for who it impacts, it's going to impact waste facility developers, landfill operators, and composting and recycling facility operators, local governments and zoning authorities, and members of the public who participate in those meetings. So if you want to figure out what's happening with your landfill and maybe some changes that are going to be going on, you can always visit those meetings that happen typically around city council, or if there's a special called meeting for your composting recycling facility operators, a special called meeting for local governments and zoning authorities, things like that. You can stay in the know about what's going on with your landfill. I know I have never been one to say I'm going to go to that meeting to learn about what's going on in the trash world in my neighborhood, but I know a lot of people, and I talk to a lot of people who are very interested, who live near a landfill, and there's a lot that's being discussed at those meetings. So it might be pretty interesting if you want to try it out. The beginning of the year, so the first one of the year probably hasn't happened yet. So you might be able to make the first one in your area. Some new laws are also going into effect in Alabama. We can take a look at. I'm just pulling up our website here. You can find all of this on WTVM.com. And these two stories are on the homepage. So those are trending right now, says Daniel. So if you want to keep it trending, you can visit our website, click on those stories, and read up on these. Some of the new laws going into effect in Alabama. It says a controversial law going into effect is House Bill 445. The law tightens rules on selling hemp products at convenience stores and vape shops. This was a very big topic when this law was first signed at the end of the previous legislative session. This is changing the landscape of how hemp products and THC products are being sold and distributed in the entire state of Alabama. A lot of stores, particularly convenience stores like gas stations, they're no longer allowed to sell these hemp and THC products. And there was a lot of discussion on how this is going to affect alternative medicine stores. For example, there is a store in Opelika. I'm gonna pull up some, see if I can find some video. I covered this story in Opelika. Let's see. We'll say THC law. I think that's what I named it. Yeah, there it is. I'll go ahead and download some of this video so I can show you exactly what we're talking about. Download the package too so you can see the types of people this is affecting. People that have made jobs like owning their own alternative store where they have things like CBD oils and things of that nature. There are a lot of alternative stores. Alternative, meaning these products are alternative to expensive pain medications. This law is affecting them as well. It's affecting what they're able to carry in their store, how much they're able to sell. Because essentially, this new law says that if you're going to sell any of these products, like THC and hemp-related products, that they have to be made, sold, marketed, distributed, all of that within the state of Alabama. And they sprung that on these store owners in a period of one legislative session. And infrastructure-wise, we're easily 5 years out from having these manufacturing sites and these distributors in the state of Alabama to be able to sell these things in the state of Alabama. So here is someone that we talked to in Opelika. He owns Top Shelf Alternatives, and we talked to him about what this new law is doing to his store, and essentially he's losing a lot of his store. But let's take a listen to this package that I did several months ago, and now this law that's officially in effect.
Chaos has been going on since May, man.
Bradley Haddon has owned and operated Top Shelf Alternatives in Opelika since 2024 and says his store operates the way all alternative stores are expected to operate in the state, legally.
We are trying to show people that this is okay, that we are completely federally legal, statewide legal, and that, you know, the average person is hurting. And that's what we're trying to do, is show people that there are alternatives to the norms.
The new law allows the ABC board to regulate the distribution and sales of all consumable THC, hemp, and vape products. The law requires all products to be in age-regulated stores, and all products must be made, distributed, and sold in the state of Alabama. The products cannot come from outside of the state. It also means convenience stores will no longer be able to sell hemp or THC products.
Manufactured, labeled, tested, maintained, and bought and sold in the state of Alabama, no outside sales. That's 5 years away infrastructure-wise by itself. So they can say they're not trying to shut our doors all they want to, but they're making it about as hard as they possibly can to stay in business.
The Opelika City Council recently passed a resolution to pause all new hemp-related business licenses in the city. Ward 5 Councilman Todd Rauch says new licenses are paused until the beginning of 2026 to give businesses already established time to modify their businesses to be compliant with the ABC Board's regulation.
Opelika is a very business-friendly community, and we have residents who both work in and own these businesses in Opelika, and it's important to us that they're not caught in that regulatory limbo.
Unmute there. So, like I said, I covered this story back in, I believe it was June. I remember it being really hot that day. I think it was over the summer. And when I spoke to Bradley Haddon and when I spoke to Councilman Rauch, there was just a lot that was up in the air. They didn't know how this was going to be affecting stores. Top Shelf Alternatives is still open in Opelika that I've seen, but this is really affecting the landscape of how a lot of these stores are going to be able to stay open, and that law is now in effect. So it's going to be one to keep your eye on, looking into how all of these laws are, how everything is going to be operating under these new laws, and a lot of change coming up ahead. Let's see if there's any other notable ones here from our article. Other laws taking effect: House Bill 126, requiring firefighters and medical personnel to take regular training on how to interact with people with sensory needs and invisible disabilities. see if we have any video on that. We'll read through these, and then that one actually sounds pretty interesting. In House Bill 358 improves child care options for working parents by creating an employer tax credit, child care provider tax credit, and non-profit child care provider grants. This goal is to help increase the state's workforce by improving affordable, quality child care. So some big news coming up for families that they have children in child care while mom and dad are away at work. Another law going into effect, Senate Bill 196, or the Move On When Ready bill, which allows high school juniors and seniors to take college classes and be credited in both high school and college, otherwise known as dual enrollment. I believe I covered that story as well. I spoke to Representative Susan DuBose, who had a law similar. Let's see, Senate Bill 196. Let's see if I have anything. We have nothing in here. Thought that we did. Let's see. Senate Bill 196. Just looking up on Google here and to see if we have any of our sister stations have. There's our article. I will keep looking to see if we have any video on this that we just haven't seen yet. No, I'll keep looking. Anyway, so some pretty big laws that are in effect now, and it's going to be interesting to watch how they change the landscape coming over the next several months as we are just getting into 2026 here.